What is happening out there, racing world? It's glorious, isn't it? The sun has arrived back for most of the country. A beautiful autumnal morning here, and it's time for another edition of the Morning Post. Great to have you with us for the next hour or so. Stick here because we're going to give you the punting pearls of wisdom on a Group 1 day, Cambridgeshire Day, call it what you like. It is leg 3 of this glorious meeting back on the rolling mile at Newmarket, where we started off on heavy ground. Some people thought they might not even race on Friday, and would you believe it? It's drying up all the time out there. Keen on runners to go through. We will be giving you the best in the business opinion. And of course, on a busy news week, some comment on that as well. Deputy Irish Editor of the Racing Post, David Jennings, will join us around about halfway. We are sponsored by William Hill. As you know, boosts coming your way, offers galore, extra places, top price guarantee. Let's get into it, shall we? Like and subscribe if you're watching. This is your chance to have a shout out. Thumbs up. Great thumbage action out there from our regulars. The community is there. You can have your chat as well. We'll try and give you a say. Right, let's get down the panel, shall we? It is a good morning to Paul Kealy.
How are you doing?
Were you out walking the dog this morning?
I was indeed, yeah. Freezing cold. The missus was scraping ice off the car on the way to work.
It's
so,
getting there, isn't it?
Getting there.
Look, the attire is changing no more.
Yeah,
and
nice.
you are actually playing golf today.
Nice, I am playing golf later on today.
There's an irony here, Gills. You look like you're going to the pub, that's for sure. Aidan Coleman joins us back. He's definitely going to the pub at some point later on.
Yeah, well, I'll have to do something. I'm waiting for my flight home, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The mind boggles, Aidan. And all right, we've got two of the best in the business then. Shall we open up the floor up in Yorkshire at William Hill HQ? In fact, it's the betting sauna, as we call it, because Johnny the Judge is back. Johnny Simpson joins us. Johnny, good morning.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I could do a little bit of sauna heating here. It's that time of year where the seasons are changing. A busy Saturday, a little bit for everyone today.
A little bit for everyone. I mean, Keels was out first thing, getting a little bit nipply. You must have been, seeing the real cold weather, because me and you were texting each other about the Australian racing. We've seen another worldie down there, haven't we? If you're not sure what we're talking about, it's Golden Rose Day at Rosehill this morning. Godolphin 1-2, so they've started absolutely fantastic fashion. A horse called Broadsiding, who might now win the Cox Plate. We're on that. John, you're fours for that, aren't you?
Yeah, the alarm went off very early this morning. We're 4-1 joint favourite. I think Godolphin have got themselves a superstar there, so it's well worth keeping an eye out in the coming weeks. Yeah,
go down. It's the son of Too Darn Hot. They think he's a European good thing, and we might even see him at Royal Ascot next year. So then we go all the way up to the States a little bit later on. You've got the Joel Hirsch Turf Classic, where Silver Knot and Godolphin have got another chance there. And we're going to concentrate on the meat in the sandwich for you, the real Saturday action. Shall we get the boost out of the way, Johnny Simpson? And it's one of the big players in the Group 1 company.
It is, yeah. The punters are on a bit of a heater at the moment. We could do with finding a loser. We're going to take on Baboosh in the Cheveley Park. We're going to go 5-2 from 2-1.
Baboosh, there you go then. One of two unbeaten fillies in the Cheveley Park. 2.25 at Newmarket. Was 2-1. Was a lot shorter than that when it opened up as well. Drifting out all the time. 5-2. That is your boost live now on the William Hill website, or indeed the app. Go and avail yourself if you fancy that Joe Lyons will take out the Group 1 pearl for the fillies this afternoon. Kills, just a quick word on the weather. Anyone that's picked up the paper this morning or digitally will have seen Tom Siegel's column, and he basically leads with not what a wonderful, marvellous weekend this is, or what my best hope is, but what a remarkable track Newmarket is, because it could have some good in it.
Yeah, I mean, we thought it was going to be bottomless, didn't we? Like, I mean, yesterday morning, I just assumed that it was going to be very, very sticky. The first race on the day wasn't that slow at all. I know they had a fair tailwind, but Newmarket is a race course they do not race on during the summer, isn't it? The Rolling Mile course, and there is the difference between putting water on a track week in, week out when you're racing, and not putting it on, and it just sucks it straight up. There've only been 2 soft ground Cambridges this century. And it doesn't look like there's going to be 3, because it might well be good or soft by the day.
Yeah, I mean, viewers, what is that doing to your puzzle to try and solve the Cambridgeshire out there, which is one of the greatest puzzles? Aidan, you said you were at the Breeze-Ups earlier on. You went to the Craven meeting, of course, which was that day. And one famous jockey once said what to you?
Well, I think Michael Hill said, if you want to know what the ground in Newmarket is like, you look out out the window on the morning of racing. If it's wet, it might be soft. If it's dry, it'll be good.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
And he's right, isn't he?
You know,
Looking at today.
we love the Rolling Mart, and we will be trying to solve the big races for you there a little bit later on. Right, are we going to do the big news of the week before we do the papers? That's the question. Yes, we are. It's there in front of us, isn't it? I can see it. So, this week, Thursday, midday, all of your notifications, I imagine, started buzzing. The Racing Post were the first to lead. It was literally, I think, 30 seconds past midday where all the headlines came up. The major changes announced to the 2025 Cheltenham Festival. The managing directors at Cheltenham, Ian Renton et al., Clark, of course, John Pullen, and some focus groups and some big names of the National Hunt sphere came up with the changes. Headlined by, because of course we'd already seen the news the previous week about the Turners not being a Group 1 anymore. Johnny Deneen had his say about that. That's now gone back to a handicap. Really looking forward to getting into that with the panel. And of course the National Hunt Chase, the amateur race jewel in the crown each year? I don't know, but it's now open to professional jockeys, also becomes a handicap. You've now got to have an extra run over fences and an extra run over hurdles as well if you want to be a novice getting into open handicap company. There's no more penalty, of course, in the Mayor's Novice. That will be perking up the ears of Gordon Elliott et al., I would imagine, who have to go and win all these Group 2s, over the winter in Ireland. And, of course, the cross-country back to a handicap. I don't think we're going to go into the consumer changes, Keels, because we haven't got time. But the pint of Guinness has gone up slightly. I asked Ian Renton on Sky earlier this week, and it went mad about that. But let's concentrate just on the racing, please.
Yeah, sure. I mean, these changes, they're good if you like them, and they're bad if you don't, aren't they? It was one of those. Pete Thomas wrote that pretty much that earlier on this week. I like them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to deny that. I mean, the problem with the National Hunt Chase, it went from being a big field novice chase for amateur riders to a small field graded chase, taking runners away from what is now the Brown Advisory. And, yes, it was for amateur riders, but it turned into a 5-runner race instead of a 20-runner race.
Yeah.
Now you've opened it to pros. I'm sure there's an awful lot of amateurs up in arms over that because it was one of their races, and I can understand that point of view. But making it a handicap was good. I don't see why it can't be an amateur rider's handicap, to be honest. But people would have a better idea over that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Love the novice handicap chase, obviously, because it was my favourite race at the festival, and I bawled my eyes out for a long while about that when they removed it.
Yeah, a lot of people will be now asking, how did you feel when it came back? Did you have a "I told you so" hat on? Or?
Well, no, it was one of those things I sort of expected. But yeah, I was happy about it because I love it. I now feel under pressure because I've got to find a winner this year.
But did you think they would remove the Turners for it, or just add it for something else?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think too many Grade 1s was the problem. So one of them had to go, and that was the newest.
Yeah.
Of them, but obviously they did run in conjunction for a while, did they not? And I'm not sure.
They did. It was called the JLT, wasn't it? Of course.
Yeah.
Noble Prince. He might have won the inauguration. I can't remember, but
yeah.
Very good horses have won that race. Well, that's that. We know about that. So Kills that point from the handicap. There were 3 buzz lines, if you like, in the press release from Cheltenham: best against the best, improved experience, and value for money. Now, whatever you make of the last 2, we're going to concentrate on the first one. I said best and against the best.
Yeah, I suppose I quite like the Turners going. I know normally when you're losing a Grade 1 out of the calendar, it can't be good news, but I think in this situation it's somewhat of an anomaly, and it will definitely make the Arkle more competitive and the old RSA. So I think that's a positive change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really do.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, we'd all like to have seen other changes and different things, wouldn't we?
Like what?
Well, I would like to have seen all the Mayor's races runners on a Mayor's Champions Day on Trials Weekend, and therefore they give them the opportunity.
Or in April, a lot of people shouting.
Does it have to be at the festival? Well, either one.
I would agree.
Just another day.
One. Have a Mayor's, a Mayor's deserve their championships, but if we run them at the same time, then they can't run an open company.
Should we have a meeting at Cheltenham in February? It's only a month, isn't it? You know what I mean?
We have one since the end of January. Right at the end of January, don't we? So,
yeah.
Why
but
not?
There is room for another day.
Cheltenham love an extra day. Why don't make it a 2-day trials meeting?
Yeah. Okay.
I think with the Mayor's chases as well, like put the kettle on. I'm going to say it. Obviously, it was a champion chase. She had the option of the Mayor's chase at the time, and the owners and Henry were brave, and they went for the the championship, he ended up winning it, because they got the allowance. So I'd just like to see more mares in those championship races.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they have got the opportunity to duck it, of course. This was Johnny
and
Deneen that said that initially,
and
without
Lassie
even
Mount
having
as
time
well,
to think
obviously.
on this show.
And like you arguably, Lassie Mount, how close would she have been to Stateman last year?
Yeah, you'd have to think the way he won that race so laboured. He was so laboured when winning
How
that
she won
champion
hers,
hurdle, and how she won hers. You'd have to think she'd have gone very close, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And it might be an opportunity lost because
Well,
State Man might be in better form then because he certainly didn't run to form when he won it, and obviously we may have Constitution Hill back.
Well, with that in mind, let's go and see what William Hill reaction was with Johnny the Judge. Johnny, you've been listening to what the guys have said. You'd have seen it all breaking, of course, digesting on the news outlets on Thursday. From a bookmaking perspective, where should we go? Perhaps starting with more handicaps? I mean, a lot of people will be saying, and I'll go to Keels with this, and Aidan as well, and you have your say out there, guys, as well, while we're doing this. Ante-Post betting. Of course, when it comes to January and February, just before the weights and indeed the marks come out, especially for the Irish novices, it's that mystique, isn't it? It's the puzzle. People love to solve it. Social media is absolutely alive with it. Are we getting rid of that sort of punter? And, of course, we've also, the yin to that yang, got to realise there aren't people that watch National Hunt Racing in December looking for your Ballyburns at 8 to 1, into 2s on the day. They're going just festival racing. You'd wager there's probably a lot more of them, actually, that want to be backing odds against.
Yeah, I think you've got to applaud Cheltenham for the changes they've made. They are quite a bold set of changes. I think it sort of peaked a few years ago when Statler beat Run Wilfred in a 4 in a race. Like punters, they're just the Ante-Post punters want to have a bit of that, but you can't have 3 or 4 races that are very similar. Mullins short price, Elliott second in. The handicaps are making it more competitive. Slightly more difficult to solve, but punters on the day, will be getting bigger prices, extra places, and I think it'll make it more competitive as a whole.
Right, if you agree with these changes out there, guys, get your thumbs up. We'll count them at the end. Let's see how many of you like these changes. Like and subscribe. Press it if you're watching YouTube. That's how you do it. So that's the punters on the day. What about turnover-wise, Johnny? I mean, more handicaps, more competitive racing. This is what we want. A belter of an Arkle, a belter of a Brown Advisory.
Yeah, I suspect turnover will go up significantly. Those, as we said before, the smaller fields, people are just not that interested. They'll be going to the bar and paying the 30p extra for a pint of Guinness while that's on. But maybe they've just gone slightly too much. I'm not sure if will there be enough horses for all these handicaps come the day. I mean, time will tell. No, it's something to look forward to this season.
Johnny, say to me what you said before we came in. It's a good line. What is odds on is probably they're not going to get the full fields.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute certainty. Come the day, there will not be full fields come decoration time for all these handicaps. I'll be amazed if that is the case.
We'll tune in back in the sauna come the opening day. And we'll tune in on the opening day with Kills and make sure they've got a going stick for you, Kills, this time.
We'll have more runners than we have been having, though, even if they don't fill.
Yeah, well, that with the National Hunt Chase, let's just concentrate on that slightly. Can we all agree that it was becoming an unedifying viewing prospect? I mean, just from we've had 6 runners one time?
It was unedifying, just boring. It just became boring.
Yeah.
It was 1 or 2 yards, Elliott or Mullins, basically.
They've definitely thought about welfare here as well.
1 or 2 jockeys. And, of course, I can't remember what the old conditions were, but it was just for old plodders. I mean, my strategy for that was pick the slowest horse because it'll just carry on going. Yeah. But they turned it, obviously, they shortened it, then they turned it into a higher class novice chase. And it was pulling from the same pool of horses as the Brown Advisory does. And obviously the big yards have all the good horses. They pull them apart. Suddenly you've got a 160 horse running in what was just a, you know what I mean? You could win it being 130 years ago, couldn't you? You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So,
2 more questions before we move on, because the Saturday previews are coming your way. But I think this is meaty stuff, isn't it? Well, we've got Kills and Adi here. Let's... Mr. Coleman, if you were still riding now, you'd be thinking, I can get another winner on the week, right, in the National Hunt Chase, all right? Mm. And you used to ride a lot for JP McManus. Do you think the boot room at McManus headquarters are now plotting up how to get... They've already had to go to 4 runs. Now they've got to go to 5. What's going to happen with that?
I suppose you might see a few more horses from France coming
in. Yeah, that's an interesting point,
had a couple of runs over hurdles over there. You know, you've seen that in the Fred Winter, haven't you, over the years? Horses having their first start in the UK in the Fred Winter, and you might see a few more like that.
Yeah, the agents over there are thinking, cha-ching.
Yeah, well, they're doing that anyway.
That's a
aren't
good
they?
point. Well, I mean, they start very early as 3-year-olds, don't they? So they
exactly.
can run 3 or 4 times
And then get over here plenty of time to climb.
Yeah, now we should say that Paul Nicholls was, of course, involved in this process. For Paul Nicholls, this is kind of like, this is how I train. Most of his hurdlers turn up. I mean, he can save stuff for the Boodles, of course. Diego de Charmil, he can save something for the Grand Annual. He's done that before, of course. But this is an attacking campaign now for more.
Yeah, but I mean, we've had Grade 1 hurdlers who haven't run in Grade 1s because they're qualified for handicaps and it's somewhere else to put them, isn't it?
It's the Stateman rule, right?
Stateman obviously was. I mean, I can't remember what Willie Mullins won the novice with, but Stateman was probably his best at novice hurdler that year, wasn't he? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Martin Pipe. That's going to now change. Of course, your Galloping de Champs and all that sort of stuff.
Don Coley's won it, hasn't he?
However, what I would say, Better Days Ahead that won that on the final race, he'd sort of shown his colours a bit. He'd had a bit of experience, didn't he? So they can now. There are different ways. Are we sort of encouraging the darker arts of handicapping here a little bit?
I mean, the darker arts of handicapping have existed at Cheltenham all the time, haven't we? We had a horse turn up in the Kim Muir that was £20 well in.
Well, Langadan is going to be on everyone's lips as well.
Well, everyone talks about Langadan, but I mean, there were so many other examples that nobody picked up on. I can't remember the name of the horse that won that, which is ridiculous because it won half the track.
Oh yeah,
but you know, and there's a Grade 1, yeah, and there's a Grade 1 horse suddenly turns up, and it's like he's just joined in.
Yeah.
So he hadn't shown his ability. That getting horses handicapped,
it's there, isn't it?
It's happened.
Yeah, look, so it just changes a bit. There were some people saying they should have more runs. I heard Jamie Snowden on Sky coming out. They've got to have one in Britain as well. I mean,
that's not fair, though.
That's not fair. No, that isn't fair. That's fair. I don't buy that at all.
The beauty of this, though, as we sign off, and we might get a word with DJ on this a little bit as well, who's obviously had his say this week, is that the beauty of this sport is there's two sides to every coin, right? Not everyone's going to love all the changes, but something had to be done.
It's good if you like it, and it's bad if you don't, isn't it?
Yeah.
At least they're making changes anyway, and hopefully this will, set a precedent that they might keep tweaking it, and they won't let it, instead of putting out fires all the time, they might actually be on the front foot. And
look at us sort of agreeing. It's all right, isn't it? It's not such a bad thing. Final word from Johnny Simpson then. We've seen a lot in the week about biggest bets on Constitution Hill. We had your compadre, Jamie McBride, on a couple of weeks ago. He said if the Racing Post put on a Saturday morning or Tuesday morning the headline of Constitution Hill, he's had a breathing, even just the words Constitution Hill, even just a picture of him, the phone will be ringing. Have we seen genuine hard support already for the Champion Hurdle?
Yeah, it's like City of Troy. It's one of these public horses, and people, they read a headline, see any snippet of news, and they just want to be on. Obviously, I can't comment for any other firms and the size of bet, but the interest is certainly there at 7-4. I mean, I'm not sure exactly when we'll see Lossy Mouth and State Man, but at the moment, that is just a one-horse book at this stage.
Brilliant. All right, that is that then. That was the news then. Major changes to the 2025 Cheltenham Festival. Have your say. Speak to yourselves in the community. And again, we'll try and get some out towards the end of the show. But we've got to move on. It's a big Saturday ahead. And what can you get if you look at your Racing Post this morning? Time for your paper roundup then. Let's get the front page up for you. This is it. This day is for you, of course, this song for you. The Ante-Post Gamble. We'll get to Johnny about that. I'm not sure. This Gills and Tom Siegel, of course, the best in the business. Chris Cook, talking about them. The front runner himself is on page 2. When it comes to impossible handicaps, this has to be one of the toughest, referencing the Cambridgeshire. Go and see what meat is on Chris's bone there, for want of another image. Here's the Smart View card. What are they gone for? I can't see the producers. Oh, yeah, at the top there. What is that? Oh, Liberty Lane, is it? Yeah, of course it is. There you go. So basically, this is a very simple view, guys. All the algorithm will tell you what's just going to win there. Henderson urges support for Cheltenham Festival, but Mullins says price is too expensive. Yeah, when we asked yesterday at Listowel, Willie Mullins basically said it's a disgrace what they've done with the amateur riders. Of course, he won that big race, but he also said ultimately it's too expensive. He went out of his jurisdiction. Irish pair could be seeing plenty of daylight in the Cheveley Park. Reference to the French raid, of course, one of two. For Mr. Deneen, our friend of the show, and there's his there aftermath, is it? Yeah, okay. He's got some really strong thoughts on the Irish racing, Johnny has. London Gold Cup run gives Poniros a great chance, and this is what we give you, premium content here. Skipper, who in the opening race now has got a mighty chance with a keen-on runner there. Never Dark, Poniros already advised. 80-year-old Ron Cragg's runner, Ron-O, fantastic to see. He's had a great season, and Real Gain, who just always seems to get backed, but was unfortunately now a non. All right, there we go. I think that's probably usually it, isn't it? Let's draw breath. It's been a fun 20 minutes or so. If you're not a member at the Racing Post, why not? Okay, we're back. That was quick, wasn't it? Sign up then. Stay ahead of the field. Right, let's get into it. Straight into it. And just to make it nice and easy for you, on Cambridgeshire Day, we've got a tricky-looking nursery. This is actually a really interesting race, this is Phillies 2-year-old nurseries go, because we've got Ghost Run, who, of course, comes from the St Ledger meeting, and Geo, who showed its true colours when winning at Newbury first time out. So a couple of horses that might be going through the grades here. We'll find out what Aidan and Keels think about it after Johnny tells us what's hot.
Yeah, this is our top price guarantee race. We'll be doing this all summer. We will not be beaten on price. And I think you'll need a little bit of value here because I think this is a really difficult opener. There's been a fair spread of business. Magic Love and Shining Pearl, those two at the moment, the worst results. But I suspect Ghost Run, it was fairly impressive at Doncaster last time, will probably end up going off favourites.
Yeah, I've seen Murphy given a forceful ride that day. So, top price guarantee. You won't be beaten anywhere on these prices. This is where the punters are relying on Mr. Kealy to be strong on one so they can avail themselves.
Well, I wouldn't say strong on one. I backed one at a slightly bigger price than he is now. Magic Love was one I backed, showed a fair bit of promise on decent ground. She enjoyed the easy going at Thirsk and was well on top at the end, pulling clear, and I think another furlong. I mean, she's by Star Spangled Banner, I think, but the stamina is very much on the damp side. I think she relished the extra furlong and liked the ground. I did have a look at Geo as well, and Geo is the one that's more than halved in price since the decks were made.
This is what I quite like for what it's worth.
Yeah, I thought she showed a fair bit of promise on easiest ground at Newbury on one run, so she might be better for it as well. But I think Magic Love has managed to get in on quite a tidy mark. And is still well in, gone up £6 for Thirsk.
For Harry Charlton, of course, this is a really tidy race, as I said. Sometimes you look at these nurseries and they're a bit off-putting and you think, I'm not sure, but this is really competitive. And like I say, there might just be a pattern class performer lurking. When in doubt, in Carl Burke we trust?
Yeah, he usually does me well in the show, doesn't he, Carl Burke?
He does.
I just think Shining Pearl, it's nearly drifted out to an each-way price now as well, isn't it?
Well, big time.
Due a win, she's been running well. The form for her last two runs, the winners have been useful, consent runs later on at Haydock. I think she's nearly favoured for that race. And I think it was Duty First beat her a couple of starts ago, who's proven in group races since. And here she is for a nursery, 8-1 from Carl Burke at the first three in the Airco Cup last week. He was having a little bit of a quiet time before that. So, I'd be happy with that price.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Shining Pearl, and I'm trying to do what I often do in these top price guarantee races and see pretty much what she is across the birds. Yeah, you're not going to beat that 8-1. So I like that. That is, again, it's a bit of a confusing race, isn't it? All right, that is the opener. On top, Magic Love.
Magic Love, hopefully, yep.
Shining Pearl.
Yep.
And I'll confuse you by saying Geo as well. So it's really, really competitive opener that. Let's move on, shall we? David Jennings coming on not too far away. Probably, I imagine, after a couple of races, and now I'm sort of squinting at this market because while I squint quite a lot, this one I was really going to have to look at because there's no Whiskey Pete, Johnny Simpson.
No, I believe he's had travel problems, so he's a late non-runner about half an hour ago. So we've got Skipper, 5-2 favourite. I believe Tom put that up this morning. He's been fairly popular. Earls at 7-2, obviously won earlier in the season. I would just keep a little eye on Flying Finn at double figures. I think back on really soft ground, obviously Haydock doesn't drain like Newmarket does. It'll be still sat in the ground there. I think Flying Finn could outrun double figure prices. Yeah,
Adrian Keatley's got some good chances today, especially at Haydock. Just quickly, I've been doing a lot of French racing this week, right, on Sky, and it really has turned now, the ground there. It's proper winter ground, what we would almost call sort of jumping ground over there. And you've seen a lot of horses and some big price shockers because, like in the spring, when the winter horses start to get caught out by the faster ground, it's a complete reversal now. We're seeing that a little bit this week as well. And Flying Finn.
It's a bit early for the winter horses, isn't it?
Well, you'd think it would be. Yeah, absolutely. But we are now seeing those that have been waiting to get their toe in. Yeah. You sometimes see horses go back onto your weather kills, don't you? Like you see at the 5%, duck eggs next to it and something smashed in because the last time it ran on 5% 15 runs ago, it was a win. You've got to do a bit more digging, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, mean, you know, the ones that have been kept fit while running either on ground that they don't like or staying on the all-weather, they're the ones you want to be keeping an interest in, don't you?
Now, you must be gutted about travel problems.
Travel problems, yeah. Whiskey Peak was one of mine. Although I'm now sort of, you know, semi-pleased because I was going to back him Ante-Post at 10s, and I was kicking myself when he got to clears. He had two other entries, so I didn't bother. So and he was 7-2, and I thought, I'm going to have to back him anyway now. So
Self-Preservation Society again.
So I didn't back him. Yeah, if you feel like that, but I did think he was the most likely winner. You can make cases for loads of these. Skipper's Dam's our half sister to Kinross, and she's expected to like the ground. Earl's gagged up on the ground earlier on in the year. I have been keeping an eye on Navaggio. I think he's well handicapped on that Lincoln third. Well, he's definitely well handicapped on it, and he was in the Cambridge.
Yes, he's out now. They come in for this.
At a massive price. Again, one of those silly rules where they're allowed to take him out because of unsuitable ground, and even though he's going to run on the same ground at Haydock.
Well, my nap later on will have that banner on it.
You know, but yeah, he's certainly.
I mean, how can that happen, really? I mean,
it's stupid, isn't it?
He's a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
If you have a ground change up, you can withdraw without penalty, basically. So he could have said it's second preference, which is what it obviously was. But probably would have got a fine for it, but now they don't. So, that's just a
unsuitable ground.
It's a quirk of the system. It's a loophole, yeah. But
yeah.
I mean, I think Navaggio is definitely well handicapped. I was a little bit disappointed with him at Ascot, but I'd be half prepared to give him another go.
He's got Mr. Haydock on him as well, hasn't he, Richard Kingscote?
Absolutely.
Which is a big thing. Radeberg, I keep waiting to bounce back to form. They're trying to visor with him today, but I've jumped off that one. You know what will happen.
He did win. Didn't he win the silver trophy a couple of years
ago? He did.
Absolutely.
He was on a high, wasn't he, for Johnny Murtagh?
He likes the ground as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ex-Varian, ex-Murtagh. Loves the ground, so I just looked at his form figures and thought
the thing is, he's trying to pick one that doesn't like the ground in that race, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty,
Aidan?
I like Earls.
Yeah,
Gavin Cromwell, obviously, Kerry National winner in the week.
Oh, God,
yeah. Loves soft ground, but as you say, like most of them. And he has won a Haydock before, hasn't he? So
who backed Florian Porter in the week? Anyone?
Yep.
Did you?
You can't beat a class horse in a handicap.
It was one of those. It was tailor-made for him, really, wasn't it? Tight, left-handed.
You always got to just applaud it.
And then, you know a horse is that good. I mean, I don't know what it is, as a jockey, what you think when a horse that good goes that far clear. I mean, you're thinking maybe we should have sat closer.
Honestly, you cannot do anything. I thought, and I'm not just sticking.
I was watching the race because the second
flew on.
Right, Paul Tannen hasn't moved a muscle, and he's going to the third last.
Well, I bet
he's 25 those behind.
I bet though. Like, I'm not just saying this because I'm an ex-jockey now at all, but when something goes that fast, I bet every one of those jockeys was literally flat out, and they're trying to conserve energy because they know if they did that, they might be upsides turning in, but they'll pull up for the last, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying that happens all the time, but when you get a horse at Flooring Porter who's like a 160 rated hurdler,
and he was high.
How many times did he stay?
He was nearly 170, wasn't he?
But I bet if any jockeys, I think also what really changed that race was the real whacker as well. Yeah, that really, because that's double his distance.
Yeah, he was towing them along as well.
Yeah, I think any jockey that didn't use their brain and went after Flowing Porter would have probably pulled up.
Another advert for Earls' trainer, of course, Gavin Cromwell, just to see a target so far out and land it. All right, okay, let's go back to Newmarket, shall we? For the first of the group races on the day, it's the Royal Lodge Stakes. Interesting market this. I was thinking that one was going to spring forward, Johnny, but it's between Wimbledon Hawkeye and the imposing Luther for Charlie Fellows and Kieran Schumacher, who probably looks the weakest of the pair.
He is, yeah. Luther opened up 5-2 favourite for this race. Obviously, the ground is now probably not as bad as everyone thought, which was possibly a negative for Wimbledon Hawkeye, who, in my view, has clearly got the best form. So there's a little bit of support from me. He's 3 from 7-2. There's good support for Royal Playwright. He's 5 from 6. And the horse we're going to try and get a few quid out of here is Angelo Buonarroti. We think he's got a pedigree that wants ground like a concrete path. So even though the ground is drying up, we think it's a negative for him. So we're trying to get a few quid out of him.
Hey, don't rule that out, John. Don't rule that out. Aidan, Wimbledon Hawkeye, looks like he's just going to edge favouritism here.
Yeah, like I say, he's got the best form because he's the one who's probably ran in 2 recent group races and ran really well. He's obviously a very good horse. Just something about him that I just think he's going to find one, maybe 2 of these too good for him again.
James Doyle on for the first time?
Yeah, always a positive. Even though, like, I don't think there was any. He was never unlucky in his last 2 runs.
It was a hell of a run last time, Kills, wasn't it? I mean, because this is
Yeah,
the big horse.
I thought that was a really good race. You've got to remember that Group 3 was easily the most valuable Group 3 in Britain at the very least. Possibly
the Acomb Stakes
possibly in
at
Europe.
York.
More valuable than most of the Group 2s that are being run. More valuable than this race, I think. And it was, it was really well contested, and pretty much everything that's run in it, although not winning, has run really well since. So, yeah, I think he's now the right favourite. I mean, he was 6-1 Ante-Post when Luther was 5-2.
He was 22-1 that day, which is
yeah,
something of a
I mean,
surprise.
I would say something of a surprise
Because it was a strong race.
But it was a strong race, and you had to say it was from horses from big yards.
Yeah.
But now we've got horses trained by James Owen and Charlie Fellows, keeping an Aidan O'Brien horse away from the head of the market. And Puppet Master's the one that didn't he dot up on
Galway,
ground.
So 2 questions before you give us your piece for him. Are you surprised that he's as big as he is if they've got the line in Winter Line on Wimbledon Hawkeye? Because surely they'd be having a go.
Yeah, I mean they've got so many. They've got so many, haven't they? I think they think that line in Winter was very good though.
He was supposed to go for the Goss Million, which we started to see a little while out. He's now going for the William Hill futurity.
Yeah, but I think that horse is very good though, and probably will be better than Puppet Master. I'd give Wimbledon Hawkeye another chance myself.
Yeah, okay, all right. I wondered whether you might just give a word to Royal Playwright again, because he's from that family that you love, and you backed him last time out.
Disappointed me last time out. Maybe the other horse was just way too good, but he's been very well supported. His other one is like halved in price since Dex.
If you look at the Bathsheba Arabian Queen line, the soft ground might well be in his favour.
Yeah, it could be okay, yeah.
Yeah,
The ground's going to dry up again now, isn't it?
he's.
I tell you what, it'll still be slow ground.
It will.
Definitely
It's
still be
surely
slow
going
ground.
to. You were worried about that sort of what we call tacky dead ground.
Well, maybe. I mean, one of the races yesterday was a good 10 seconds slower than standard, so it wasn't. It wasn't quick ground by any stretch of the imagination. And you've got to remember they did have a fierce tailwind yesterday.
Would we be able to do a big montage in the studio of you coming back and being asked what the ground is and just saying the word dead a lot?
Yeah, I think.
Because jockeys, we just don't really understand what that means.
Well, I suppose
you used to love that dead.
Well, I suppose you got wet ground, you got good ground, and you got specialists of both types. But no horse actually likes dead ground, so it probably evens up the playing field a bit.
Great excuse for you boys, eh?
Very much so, yeah.
Great
But
excuse.
it's very simple. It happens when it's very soft and there's a drying day, basically, and all of a sudden all the moisture goes out of it, which makes it more clay, makes it more sticky, and we call it dead. So dead ground is sticky ground, basically.
Yeah, just basically soft ground that's drying, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe as they might call yielding in Ireland, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no one else knows what that means over here, by the way.
Yielding is just probably just slightly better and good to soft.
Yeah, if you say so, Aidan. If you say so. All right, okay. So, look, the headlines from this. Keels, Wimbledon Hawkeye, that's the form run. Remind us, Aidan, what the tip was?
Puppet Master.
Puppet Master for Ballydoyle, Old Conquering. And I can see the angle on Royal Playwright. I thought, sometimes from that maiden into a group race is a bit tough. I think he'll learn again.
I didn't like its maiden form. I remember we talked about that. I didn't thought it was in very good form anyway.
I need to run it. It's a field of gold. Again, another informative race, isn't it? 9 in the Winter Boost, potential field of gold boost. So keep your eyes on that as well for Ante-Post reasons. Let's move on for the first of our Group 1s, though, shall we? It's the 225. And tacky ground leads us to Babouche, who is no longer favourite with Hills. They've boosted it, of course, that 2-1 out to 5-2. But in the market itself and in trading land, are we starting to see red flags yet for Lake Victoria?
Yeah, well, so Babouche has been favourite ever since the entry stage came out. So Fairy Godmother was in at that point. But the support now for Lake Victoria is really strong. It's 15-8 from 5-2. Babouche is, really weak. The 5-2 in the boost is popular, but I'm not sure what price she will end up at this rate. There's been really good support for the 2 French horses. Daylight was significantly bigger earlier in the week, and there's now money for Rejevka, who is 7 from 10.
It was a lot bigger than that, I think, because yesterday I saw some 14-16s in place as well. Kills, let's come to you. Let's let you start off. Let's, if you don't mind, stick with Babouche, because this is now a worrying drift for a lot of people. There are 2 things that come to mind. Jer Lyons, Siskin, was it? You can't say Shishkin. It was Siskin, wasn't it? It was supposed to come over and win. I know he didn't go in the stalls, but Jer's record in Britain is often talked about. And also, what will she be like on this ground?
Well, I mean, the ground's a bigger worry than the Girl Lyons thing. I think it's a question mark. I mean, look, I backed Daylight shrewdly each way yesterday, but I see the non-runner has ruined that.
That had to be the case.
Because I thought the ground was going to be really soft, and I toyed with backing Rayevka and didn't. Yeah, because I thought the other two have definitely got something to prove on. You know, it doesn't mean they won't handle it; they just haven't. So it's an unknown. Whereas Daylight and Rayevka have form on soft ground, and I thought Daylight's form was, you know, yes, she was beaten by Whistle Jacket, but I mean, she just didn't get any sort of run at all. And I think Barcelona couldn't pick his whip up until the last 100 yards. She's going to be better than she was there, but she needs to be because she was behind Whistle Jacket and Babouche had beaten Whistle Jacket. Would I back her at 4-1? Probably just about.
I'm the same.
I wouldn't go any shorter.
I'm the same.
I think she'll end up bigger. I think she'll go out again, and I think the other French one will go out again as well.
This is one of those horrible tips that we give for what I would call, I don't want to say the word simple punters.
I thought she was a stonking value bet when she was 15 to 2, 8 to 1.
Because you think she'll have a say in the finish, and you've got some juice in the price, right?
Yeah, and you were getting 3 places.
I think we need to explain that.
But now you're not.
And that is putting you off slightly.
Like,
some people
you know,
are like, just want winners. You know, it's like
no. You know, I think if you make a horse a hell of a lot shorter to finish in the 3 than you're actually getting, then you got a good value.
Totally agree. She's ready to put herself in the finish here.
She's got to finish in the first 2 now if you bet in each way, which is no good to you.
Yeah, she did travel very strongly in France. If you watch back the morning last
she
time,
she just didn't get her run in time.
and he was on the rail Whistle Jacket, which was thought to be a big bonus for our
first time she's
people
running
on course
against
that
fillies
day.
as well. So you know, we'll have to see. But obviously, Babouche has beaten Whistle Jacket. I think that's the pick of the form. I'd be interested to see how they're going to run Lake Victoria because she took a while to get going and then.
Yeah, that's my worry with her.
Well, she's dropping back down into it. How many Moyglare winners come to this? There's one question. DJ will be working
there
out.
you go. She took a fair while to get going, didn't she? If there's a tailwind and she's in behind.
Yeah.
2 questions for the viewers then, and if anyone's listening, the quiz is then. Last French winner of the Cheveley Part, I can't remember the bound. I'm thinking special duty, but I'm not sure about that.
It might be, but I don't know. I'll look it up for you.
All right, okay. And when was the last Moyglare winner that tried this double?
I wouldn't know that either.
And especially the way she won the Moyglare, as you said, it took a while to get going. That's why I've gone with Babouche. I just think that drop back in furlong is.
Now, pedigree you mentioned, so Michael Stout trained the dam. Pavlovska, was it? It was a run, that. Apologies if I got the name wrong. She won a listed race at York on soft ground.
Yeah, she's won on soft, and like Kodiak seemed to go on in it.
I said that yesterday.
Yeah.
Kodiak, you think it's going to be top of the ground, but it's not at all. It's just an all super sire.
Yeah, exactly, and he's proven over the years. And like, Geraldine's a top-class trainer, whether his record in Britain is good or bad, it doesn't really matter.
Vorder, 2013.
Which one?
Vorder.
11 years ago.
Vorder. Can we colours?
I haven't even heard of it.
I remember it. Was it Strawbridge? I'm trying to.
No, Mohammed bin Khalifa Al Thani. There you go.
That's helping. That's helping. All right. Okay. All right. So it can happen. All right. So all right. Who are you with here? Rayevka. Did anyone look back at Rayevka? You obviously did, Kills.
Yeah,
it's a quick turnaround. This.
I did. It is a quick turnaround. She's just a horse full of promise, isn't she? She hasn't got the form to be 7 to 1. It's one of those when she was a bigger price and you could get an extra place, you could think, well, you know, this is the one that could have loads of improvement in it, and it hasn't come from France for nothing. But now it's 7 to 1.
They potentially got the best 2-year-old filly in the world in their hands at the moment as well.
Oh, you keep going on about this one as well.
Yeah, so Graffard's horses are they're pretty hot.
I mean, you know, she hasn't come out here for a day out, has she? And
no.
She was backable at double figure price. I don't think she's backable at 7s myself now.
Would Leo Vanni be a bit big? You know, Queen Mary winner.
Kills? Leo Vanni?
I mean, the form's right up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Just at the price. It's a shame it's on each way market again, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be worth a go.
It was always going to happen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was always going to happen. It's happened in the next race as well. All right, so what do you like? There you've been told. Aidan, sticking with the boost. Kills, Daylight, just Vive la France, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if I have to do a placebook perm every day when we're tipping, and I put the 2 French ones in, and I hope that there'd be a little bit of a boil over and the ground was really soft.
Yeah.
Not so sure now, but yeah.
Be interesting to watch the market with Lake Victoria as well. Seems like it's hardening all the time. 7 go then in the first Group 1 of the day. That is the Cheveley Park Stakes. All right, shall we move on? Where are we going now? Is it the big one? It's the middle part, probably, I'm assuming, which is coming out. The next race for us, and it's going to be all about Whistle Jacket. Oh, blimey, Johnny Simpson, what are we going here? Of course, Oh yes, Ides of March is out. Now, we'll get to this because, of course, in the Rockfell Stakes yesterday at Newmarket, Ryan Moore wasn't even on the winner bubbling at the morning stage. Of course, they pulled the other one. Whether that was ever going to run or whether the pair were ever going to run, I don't know. A lot of people will be screaming blue murder about Ides of March here, who, of course, Sean Levy was supposed to be riding for Aidan O'Brien. That's now been scratched. Hence, we're seeing 8 to 15 on about the Great Whistle Jacket.
Yeah, it's not the best Group 1 we're ever going to see. He did this race thinned out on Monday with the confirmations, and it's even worse now. I think 8 to 15 will be in everyone's accas today across all the sports. Struggled to see what actually beats him if he gets the rail like he did in France. He's 8 to 1 for the Commonwealth Cup. That might be something that interests people at this stage. We'll be putting up a special double. A massive prize here, maybe one for the betting without or some of the side markets, is Dash Dizzy. I could see him running a lot better than the Complete Rag, but not the best Group 1, 8 to 15 Whistle Jacket.
Well, when you're putting up a horse with an 8 to 85 Racing Post rating next to its name to maybe win the Group 1, you might be summing that up. We've got 2 horses in here as well that keep getting scratched. Shadow of Light was supposed to go in the Mill Reef, of course. Soft ground. I didn't think he was going to turn up in this, but the ground, fun enough, might be turning his way. And Defence Minister is supposed to have danced a few dances as well. Looks like they're going to run. Stick in the Malcolm winner, and you could give it a bit of substance. Aidan, Whistle Jacket, what do you make of him as a horse? Is he just a 2-year-old, and does he just win today?
Well, the way they're campaigning him suggests that, doesn't it? They're really aggressive, isn't it? I was taking him on with Ides of March. It's hard to oppose him now. I would say Shadow of Light. I think the track will suit him better than last time. But, as you're saying there, it's not the strongest Group 1. As I said, I was very happy to take him on with Ides of March, so a bit disappointing for me.
Is this Blackbeard Mark II, which of course was Aidan's winner 2 years ago? We didn't see him at 3.
I don't know whether I won't see him. I mean, he's a big sprinter, isn't he? But that's all he is. He's
very good-looking 2-year-old.
He's a sprinter, and but the thing is, he's a soft ground sprinter as well, isn't he? You see, he likes to get his toe in. So he's got conditions absolutely perfect. He's got the best form by a country mile. I mean, 8 to 15 doesn't actually look, if you're that sort of player, bad value at all. Like Johnny, I was half interested in the withouts for Dash Dizzy. It is a half brother of Sioux Nation. And all he's done is show a lot of promise first time out.
Sioux Nation win this race
behind a Mill Reef winner, and then won cosily enough next time. So yeah, interesting, because I don't think any of the others set a dramatic standard. But it's Whistle Jackets to lose.
Whistle Jackets to lose. Now, lots of you like this when Kills does this. He basically said, if I was
normally
playing,
wrong, however. I mean, that's why I don't bet short prices.
Because you're often wrong.
Something always goes wrong.
All right, well, this is a great time, isn't it, to bring in David Jennings. Let's go across the Irish Sea and bid him a very good morning. DJ, welcome along to the Morning Post again, my old son. You've probably been listening to a bit about that. I was asking a few questions as we went along. You've heard about what we're saying about the Irish horses. Maybe a quick word on Babouche and Lake Victoria as well, please.
Yeah, I like Babouche. You were talking about kind of her pedigree and stuff. I think the key thing is Zarinsk. Zarinsk is her sister, and Zarinsk absolutely loves bottomless ground. So the fact that Zarinsk, I think her two highest RPRs were with either soft and heavy in the going description, I think that tells me that even if the ground is not going to be that soft, she's going to handle some cutting it, because the softest ground she's going to face. I spoke to Colin Keane during the week. He seems very happy, doesn't really mind what the ground does. And I just think she's beaten Camille Pissarro. She's beaten, horses cold from Ballydoyle that were held in high regard, and I think she might beat Lake Victoria as well.
Oh, taking the boost as well then. 2 takers of the boost, which have been flying in left, right and centre. Whistle Jacket then, DJ. Again, am I being a bit harsh, painting him as a sort of Blackbeard stroke little Big Bear or whatever his name was? Basically just a 2-year-old.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Babouche does, because obviously Babouche has beaten Whistle Jacket. So if Babouche wins easily, I'd say Whistle Jacket will be even shorter. But no, I think he's your ideal Commonwealth Cup type for next year. He's just a very good juvenile in a very bad race here. I think that's the way I'd sum it up. Like, this is shocking stuff altogether. It's poor. The one horse I think is overpriced is Jouncy, who I thought actually ran quite well last time, and wouldn't be surprised if that kind of run into a place, but there's only 2 places. So wouldn't be surprised. Like if you were looking for a little bit of value in this race, I'd say maybe Jouncy without Whistle Jacket might be the play. But look, you'd be very disappointed if Whistle Jacket was beaten. I was actually texting Johnny Deneen this morning, and Somebody texted him. The fella that texted him is on a stag down in Dingle. You probably won't get this joke because it's Irish. But Johnny said if Whistlejacket is beaten, he'll go looking for fungi. Have you ever heard of fungi?
Would that be special mushroom by any chance?
No, I wouldn't. No, dirty. No. Very poor mind from you. Fungi is a dolphin, mythical kind of dolphin thing. So, yeah. Well, mythical. We say mythical. We don't know if it's mythical or not.
All right. Okay. Well, so there's a chance that there's a fungi out there at Laytown somewhere. All right.
He
okay.
did exist. He wasn't mythical. He just went missing.
No, actually, yeah, you're right, Aidan. He did actually exist.
Exist.
But I would say,
fungi is an Irish dolphin that went missing.
Well, yeah, he was old. He was Dingle's biggest tourist attraction for about 20. God knows how we're talking about this now.
Yeah,
for
about
probably
20 years.
Well, this is where we go.
It was probably 40 different fungi. So I'd say.
Exactly. Yeah, highly trained.
Oh, I see. All right, it's okay. Right, brilliant. All right, I thought I was going to pick mushrooms when I saw that tweet. I must say. All right. Let's go to Haydock back up there. We'll keep you with us now, DJ, if you don't mind. The 3:15 is a 5 furlong handicap. Which cretin put this on the running order? Probably someone from William Hill. It's 4-1 the field. Johnny Simpson, you love your sprint handicaps. What's hot and what wins?
Yeah, well, the horse I fancy here is really weak in Wiltshire. He's 5-2 out to 4-1. I thought being out of a clay, I thought he'd love this soft ground. He could be potentially a class apart, but the market doesn't think so at the moment. There's a big mover here, and it's Mr. Segal put this up this morning. Never Dark. He's 10-1 from 20-1. Obviously, won this race last year.
All right, okay, we've got a couple of winners of this race because a long time ago, Hyperfocus, I seem to remember, won it for Hugo Palmer. It's really, really bad ground. Oh, God, blimey. What price is Designer, Johnny? Is that 18-1 I can see there? She's
18-1.
Yeah, she's quite interesting. I'm gonna throw one in here in a horrible race. Is that there's a couple of strong opinions at the Racing Post about this race, by the way. Keith Melrose in his punt email strong on Aberama Gold. That's a project that I've given up on. Designer came back at York for a race that she'd won the last twice, and she just didn't quite fire.
Well, she was woefully weak in the market.
She was woefully weak in the market. She's being nibbled at here, and she's got one run on soft ground. It's one. She's placed at Haydock as well. And if I'm going to have a little tickle on her, I think, because I'm looking at likes of our old friend Silky Wilkie, Never Dark for Thomas sort of get. And then you're looking at Jer Bat as the handicapper, got the mark. Wiltshire, not sure about him. I'd like to take a chance, Kills.
I back Never Dark. Never Dark at a big price. I could easily see the case come to the same conclusion as Tom. He ran well for a really long way in the Air Gold Cup last time. He finished 11th and he finished 17th. Sorry, not the Gold Cup, the Silver Cup. And he finished 7th in it the year before he won this off a £4 higher mark. He's got £5 claimer Alex Jerry on who rode it last time. And a lot of these horses, they either don't want soft ground or they don't really want 5 furlongs. Whereas he wants 5 furlongs, and some of his best runs have been on soft ground, including winning this race last year. So yeah, I thought he had a right chance, and he could easily get onto the rail as well.
I wondered whether you might give Silky a chance after the second.
Silky, I'll back Silky Wilkie.
Have you had a go on it? Because he's your horse, really.
No, I backed him at Hare.
Did you in the Gold Cup?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I thought he was caught between 5 and 6 furlongs. That maybe proves me wrong a little bit, but
yeah, I don't think he's quite the horse he was. I don't think he wants ground really, really soft either. So no, I don't particularly like him. And while Wiltshire looks like he should like the ground, he's won twice on soft ground and been heavily beaten both times. So I just thought there's enough reasons to try and find something else. Obviously, Never Dark was 25. He's now 10. I wouldn't be rushing in to back him at 10, but I'm happy.
William Agus had a really good day at Haydock yesterday. Did you see the 440 grand?
Well, he had a couple of juveniles win very, very easily.
You wonder whether that soft ground form. He looks like he could have some very good ones. I think
he's fantastic at juveniles.
He's got some very good stock for next year. We're hearing coming in as well, getting all the sale toppers and stuff. Aidan, 3:15, tricky sprint handicap or what you love?
Very. I was keen to take on Wiltshire. I can see why he is. He hasn't ran in 91 days as well. First run back in soft ground. Last run was on the all-weather. I did find it a tricky race. I probably spent more time in this race than I did in the Cambridgeshire. I'd go with Jerby. Likes Haydock. Ground should be okay as well. He obviously has ran okay on soft ground a few times.
For the Baron.
Yeah.
All right, Jerbat it is. DJ, did you have a look at this?
Small one. I don't think now is the time to give up on Aberama Gold, I have to say, because he's finally got a bit of cut in the ground, and I think his last win was on heavy, and 2 of his last 3 wins have been on heavy, actually. And I just thought in the Portland, like Desert Cop and him kind of forced the pace out in the middle, and they both finished out with the wash. And I wouldn't read too much into that. And if you can forgive him that, I thought he had a chance in this, but very, very lukewarm now.
All right. Okay, gold for DJ. That is the 3:15 at Haydock. So 25 minutes later or so will be the Cambridgeshire, and he runs, he being Roi de France. Blimey, we've been given the runaround on this horse. Non-runner, we were told here at the Post yesterday, most likely by co-trainer John Gosden. It shows what the ground is doing there, I guess, at Newmarket. They are allowing him their chance. And now your clear favourite, Johnny Simpson.
Yeah, the big betting race of the day. It's some spectacle. It's 30-odd horses spread across the track. Roi de France was the big gamble sort of 2 or 3 weeks ago before he ran at Yarmouth. That dried up somewhat. And I'm not so sure. Did he really want to go through with it at Yarmouth? They were backing him like it's the next Lord North, and I don't think that's the case at all. Similar case for this song for you. Now, often with these big gambles in big handicaps in college, a bit of a snowball effect. There was some proper money flying around Monday and Tuesday for this lad. He's a little bit weak now, hence with double figures. And we're currently playing 6 places. The horse I'll be looking at here is Balmacara, drawn wide. I'm going to go against the grain, and I think he can make all on the far side. So Balmacara will be my selection here.
Absolutely love it. In stall 1 then. All right, 30-odd runners spread across the track. Keels, just come to you quickly because the stats gurus will tell you want to be high in this race. We've had a couple of soft ground Cambridges. The last one saw credit swap in 2010, I think it was, on that far side.
The only 2 soft ground Cambridges, both winners came from trap 3.
Because it's a leveller, right?
If you're a coincidence punter and a leap, which is about 100 to 1, that would be some coincidence.
Yeah, well.
But I mean, they were low, and I think one of those years, the first 4 were all drawn in single figures.
All right, so
I mean, who knows? I mean, basically, what we've seen over the last couple of days is the rail on either side, wherever they raced, looked the place to be. Until Burdett Road comes straight down the middle and destroyed everything. But
I actually won on credit swap his next start after the Cambridge.
Did you?
Did I?
Michael Wiggum's horse?
Was
it Wiggum's?
Venetia bought him, and I won a novice hurdle on him at Leicester.
That's brilliant.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Odds against?
Oh, God. Yeah, it was. And he never won afterwards, actually.
You've napped over hurdles today, haven't you? Just to
Yeah,
go down that line.
Yeah,
All right, stick around for that. It's coming up shortly. John Gosden's first winner of the Cambridgeshire. Can anyone remember?
Pipe dreamer? No. Halling? No, they didn't trade now, did he?
DJ, are you listening to yourself back? Someone's listening to themselves. I
Yeah.
got DJ. I got
I can
it's
hear
either
DJ. I can
the
hear
studio's
DJ in the
gone for it. I
background.
think we all probably got that. The first John Gosden Cambridgeshire winner. Come on, DJ, you can shout in as well. Anyone?
He's not there.
I don't know the answer. I would shout if I knew the answer.
It was I thought you might be typing away. We can't see. It's Halling.
I said Halling.
Did you say Halling?
Yeah.
Did you say Halling?
For God's sake.
We also then said he didn't train him.
Well, the reason why I didn't get
Well, he
that.
shook his head, didn't he? I thought I must be wrong.
Did I? I think I was listening to DJ's clip coming back. It's Halling, isn't it?
Halling. No,
Halling.
such a long while ago.
Now, the
Halling to
reason
me.
why it's Halling, according to John Gosden, the reason why I remembered that was because John Gosden mentioned Halling in this breath when talking pre-race about Roi de France's chances 10 days ago at Yarmouth. He basically needed to get a penalty for Halling in 94 to win it. And he said to Frankie that day, I can't remember who was speaking to at Sky Sports Racing on the track, he said, make sure that we get in. They wanted a penalty for this guy, thinking they might not get in. Here they are getting in. The ground seemingly is turning his way. He was a soft ground winner at Windsor under Oshie Murphy, who retakes the ride. Johnny Simpson said he might not have gone past last time.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, they were absolutely desperate to get the penalty and didn't get it, so there may be a case that he didn't go past. I mean, you don't want that in a race like this, do you? Because there won't be, you know what I mean? This is a hard race to win, isn't it? I mean, it really is lung-bursting efforts for the last couple of furlongs at least. So yeah, interesting. But if he's got that talent, maybe he will be that good. But there are other...
One horse calling, though, is he?
Well, is he? I mean, he's won it with other group of horses. Pipe Dreamer was a group horse, was he?
Lord North, obviously,
Lord
with Hickam
North,
wasn't
obviously.
too far off.
Yeah, so I mean, he's won it with some very good horses, hasn't he?
Yeah, you get a mix of winners, don't you? Like your Bronze Angels who came out from Marcus Dragoni back to back, just turn up in this race every year and go well.
Yeah,
why I
but I
went
mean,
for
there
Jewel
are
Identity.
other potentially very well handicapped, very decent 3-year-olds in
Take
the
the
race
floor.
as well, aren't they? Like, you know, I mean, while this song is for you was being smashed down to 6 to 1, A horse that finished 11th and a half ahead of it when its last ran was sitting at 33s and 40s, and that is Norwalk Havoc of Jesse Harrington's. Now, he had stall 16 at Galway in that BMW mile, and was on the outside all the way round. Didn't particularly handle the track that well, but flew home for second. Went a length and a half clear of This Song Is For You, who'd been in front of him. And he hasn't run since because I'm pretty sure he wants soft ground. They've got him in the Balmoral as well. They've already tried him in group company. If the ground hadn't been too fast, he probably wouldn't have made his handicap debut at Galway last time because he was actually in the Group 2 Minstrel Stakes. And here he is running in here off 102 with the ground to suit with a high draw, which historically recently is the right place to be. So he was a massive price. He's not a massive price anymore, obviously. I went for him. I nearly tipped Poneros, but I didn't think he had any chance of getting in. He's absolutely crying for that drop-in trip.
Tom's headline tip this morning?
Yeah, that sort of annoyed me because he was a big price, and I just got myself convinced that, it's a Cambridgeshire, and if you need 10 to come out, that doesn't tend to happen, and he needed roughly that amount to come out, and it did. But the other one I backed is Beneteau. I mean, he's just in really, really good form. He likes a big field. He likes coming through horses. If they go hard enough, that's the issue, because there isn't masses of pace. But he stays the trip really well. He keeps running well. He was only 3 lengths behind the Revenant on soft ground in France a year and a half ago.
He's 20s, by the way, Hills.
Yeah, Beneteau. Yeah, so Beneteau and Norwalk have it, the two I backed Ante-Post, and I'm sticking with them.
All right, Aidan.
I thought, the headline with This Song Is For You is how much he's come in price, but I don't think he should have been the price he was anyway, with his recent form. I'm going for dual identity. As we said earlier, like horses that each way, he always
Your
runs.
Bronze Angel.
Yeah, he always runs well. He's ran well in this before. He's got a good claimer. I just think, I thought on soft ground it might, it might suit a hardened handicapper, who's been there and done it.
20 to 1 again?
Yeah, I just think good each way price. You get your money, you get a run for your money with him, wouldn't you?
You're coming out at 30 as well, so you'll probably be happy with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, he ticks the boxes.
Okay, just before we go to DJ, I want to talk about This Song For You, because DJ will get us, probably a good line on this. I spoke to another leading bookmaker in the week, Johnny Simpson, and they said we've never seen a penny for this. This has just been defensively priced. Is that the same at Hills, or was this genuinely like a bit of a buzzer?
Yeah, he set the liability alarm off on Tuesday morning when I logged in, so there was certainly a few quid to back it. Maybe we were top price compared to the rest of the industry, but there was proper money for it.
The liability alarm. There you go. DJ, do you think it's a worthy liability alarm? What more do we know about this chap?
I suppose the most important thing is his trainer. And I was working at the Irish Champions Festival when he won that final race of the whole meeting, and he was shocked. He was shocked This Song Is For You won. He said, look, we didn't think he would be right for this. We thought he would need the run. We were hoping he'd run well, but we thought he'd come on for it. And the plan was the Cambridgeshire. So the fact that he won that is obviously a ringing endorsement for his chances here. He's very versatile. Like, to win a Galway bumper and now to be, second favourite for a Cambridgeshire. He's obviously got a lot of ability. Not a lot of horses can do that. So look, he's got a great chance. Look, I'm completely probably in a minority here, and I know the camp are completely against this, but I think 8 to 1 Roy de France is a terrific price. I really do. I think, and by the way, it's Halling, by the way. I don't know where Halling came from, but it's definitely Halling.
Well, it's Navan and it's Narvan again, isn't it? But you could take that up with John Gosden. Go for it.
Well, it's Navan and Halling. I look, this horse to me, I know what Johnny is saying at Yarmouth. It was a funny sort of a race, I thought, at Yarmouth. But still, if you actually look at our Racing Post ratings, guys, you very rarely see such a big difference. Like, he's rated 95 and he got a Racing Post rating of 104 for that performance. So, like, that's £9 in the difference. Like, so they obviously saw something in it, and so did I. I'm not sure the race was actually run to suit him, and I thought when he actually wants to make his move, he was kind of caught in a tiny bit of a pocket. Now, he wasn't really unlucky, but it was just one of them where you kind of see a faster pace, a smoother passage. He probably does win. And I just go back to that Windsor run, like, where Amphius, who was third that day, was just beaten last week at Haydock. Amphius is now rated 95, and Roy de France absolutely hammered Amphius at Windsor. To me, he just looks like a horse that's probably, this is going to be his last handicap. I think he's a stakes horse in the making. You're getting 8 to 1 because it's such a big field, but like, I remember just watching the Kerry National during the week, and Ruby Walsh and Gary O'Brien were talking about Flooring Porter, and this is complete aftertime, and I actually didn't fancy Flooring Porter. I wish I did. But they said if there's one horse in the field to blow the Kerry National apart, it's Flooring Porter, and that was completely right. If there's one horse in this race that's going to absolutely bolt up, it's Rite of France. And I think he's a bit like Greek Order in the race last year. Do you remember Greek Order ran for the Charltons off 95? And he probably should have won. He just needed the gap at a different time when he finished second, Astro King. He's off the same mark as Rite of France, 95. I think that 8-1 could half in price come the off.
Love it, DJ. Strong opinion on the favourite. That's what we want. Just to back up that Yarmouth run before we move on. I was with him that day. He went out to 2-1. He didn't get out in time. A good test that this is what he wants. Forgive him that. The quick turnaround, not so sure. But anyway, that is your Cambridgeshire. Right, draw breath. We'll be back. Right, while we've got him, we need the Irish angle then from David Jennings. 2 good days across the Irish Sea. We've seen in Johnny Dineen's column, he's saying there are some good things in the maidens, etc. What is DJ like?
Well, I suppose we start off in the Goffs Million. You'd have to feel sorry for Goffs and Henry Beebe, because for so long, for the last, 6 weeks, they were getting the best juvenile of the whole season in the Lion and Winter running in this race. And then a couple of days ago, the Lion and Winter is not running. And now you've got like horses rated in the high 90s, and Apples and Bananas is favourite rated 100. And you've got horses running for £1 million. I think it's 495,000 to the winner and £1 million in prize money in total. And, none of them are going to be winning classics next season. So that's a little bit disappointing, obviously, in the Goffs Million. If you were to push me, the one that I thought was overpriced was Dante's Lad, who's actually the second string from the Joseph O'Brien stable. I thought Dante's Lad, when it went out to 14s, I thought that was a big price, to be honest with you. In the other kind of, I suppose, noteworthy races on the card, the Beresford is a race that Aidan O'Brien used to farm. He hasn't won the last 2 runnings, but I think he won 10 in a row or something before that. But hot as hell. He doesn't have the favourite or the second favourite, but I actually thought his runner was overpriced here, Trinity College. Trinity College wore blinkers last time at Galway. And I always say, it's very hard to win a race at Galway, no matter what it is, by a wide margin. And he won by 12 lengths. And Wayne Norton couldn't pull him up. I'm surprised at how weak he is in the market. I know he was disappointing in his 2 runs before that, but he did start favourite for Leopardstown Maiden the time before, so maybe the blinkers have made a difference. I thought he was overpriced in the Beresford. But one I really do like, and he's actually my nap of the day, if I can give it away this early, in the Joe McGrath Premier Handicap at 310. I'm really keen on Laugh a Minute here for Jack Davison and Gavin Ryan.
Yes.
Won the race last year off 89 and is back 12 months later running off £3 lower. And there's no skullduggery or anything here, because Laugh a Minute is one of these horses who, if you remember him, I think he was with Roger Varian when he was in England. Yeah. And he's one of these horses that absolutely just thrives when there's a bit of cut in the ground. He copes really well with it. Now, it is a bit like Hughes. It's drying out here this morning, but it's still going to be yielding. It's not going to be fast ground, and that's going to suit Laugh a Minute. And I'd imagine Jack Davison, who's only got these Shamrock Thoroughbred horses recently from Ado McGuinness, I'd imagine the minute he got Laugh a Minute, he said, right, you won this Joe McGrath handicap last year. It's a nice prize. It suits him. By the end of September, the ground will start to soften. And I thought when he drifted out to 16-1, I don't know what price we're getting here for the naps, but I thought Laugh a Minute was certainly a big player in that 310 at the Curragh. He should be in the mix. Whether he gets there, it's one of them races you'll have to watch through your fingers, because he'll be held up and he'll be coming late. But I think this might be the day that he gets there. Yeah, I would Laugh a Minute in that 310 at the Curragh.
Man, we're talking about projects and jumping off. If there's a 9-year-old that travels better in his races, I'm yet to see it. It's Laugh a Minute. Yeah, you're getting 11s. That will be boosted, DJ. Thanks for that case. We know you're on the clock, so maybe just tell us about tomorrow then. It's Iris Cesarowicz time. What a race that was last year. We're going to see such heroics. Who's the likely favourite? Nürburgring.
Yeah, Nürburgring is favourite. Joseph O'Brien, I think, runs 7 in it. Look, huge prize money, like way more prize money than the English version. Joseph O'Brien has got the favourite and the second favourite. He's got Nürburgring and he's got A Piece of Heaven as well. Look, there's a few horses in this that are interesting. And it's a bit like, I don't know if you've seen Am I Right? Basically, disgracing himself and me in the Kerry National. You get these horses that you just get attached to, and you know on the odd occasion they might actually pop up and win. And there's one horse in here that I have been, oh God, I can't even say it, but I just think there is still a big handicap in Comfort Zone. He's one of these horses that has threatened so much. If you remember him, like he was third to Lossiemouth in a juvenile hurdle at Fairyhouse, and he's got loads of ability. He's number 27. He's not, it says he's carrying 8 stone 9. He'll be carrying 8 stone 4 because Wayne Hassett has taken off £5. He's got cut on the ground. He's got a trip. He's got the curra. He's got so much in his favour, Comfort Zone. But look, me and Comfort Zone go way back, and me and Comfort Zone are not friends at the moment. So whether we reacquaint ourselves tomorrow, I don't know. But he is very, very dangerous. First time blinkers as well. So maybe we might give him one last try. But after Am I Right during the week, I don't know.
You're getting 22 to 1, and it's the hope that kills you, DJ, isn't it? First time blinkers, just when you thought you were never going to back him again, or maybe tomorrow's the day. And we say that we've got the Coolmore clone, which is something that G-Rod has sort of like farmed on this show. Well, you've got the JP ones, like Cougars and all that sort of stuff. I keep backing them. I never really collect.
yeah, there is. There's quite a few of them type of horses that on any given day they might just pop up. And I know, Keels, your theory on is it the Grand National is you back the horse you'd be sickest if it won.
Yeah, back every horse that would really annoy you if it won.
You probably rode half of them, Aidan, didn't you, as well? The JP clones.
My national record wasn't great, so if you did, you were throwing your money away.
That's all right. All right, DJ, it's fabulous to have you. Thanks for giving us a word on the Iris Says as well. Have you booked your trip to Anfield yet? That's what everyone wants to know.
No, what did we do? Oh, we backed at Knightswood a few weeks ago and finished fourth, so we got our money back. But no, we haven't had it. I was threatened to put up Ride of France this week and say, could we have a go at that? But it was never really any bigger than 8s, 9s, 10s kind of thing. So we left that alone. And sure, the jump season won't be far away now. I know you are talking about the Cheltenham changes, so it gets you kind of get the juices flowing for the jump. So it won't be long before we're back. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, DJ, we'll let you go. Enjoy the weekend. Looking forward to reading your reports.
Cheers, Dave.
Brilliant. David Jennings, Deputy Irish Editor. Right, we've got to move on, haven't we? We've got an Ante-Post race for you as well. We've got really good vibes coming then. Great to have you with us. A reminder, like and subscribe. Do you like the Cheltenham races changes? Do you like the fact that it's still, you know what I mean, going to be better car parks, all that sort of stuff, improved experience, value for money? Like and subscribe. That's what it's all about if you're watching on YouTube. Right, talking about Ante-Post and marathons and Irish Cesarowitz. It's our Cesarowitz, if you like, coming up on the 12th of October. Who is your favourite Ante-Post-wise at the moment? Johnny the Judge.
Yeah, this is not a race that's really got going yet, and I would say 3/4 of this field is running tomorrow. So my advice would be just to sit on your hands for a day or two, because some of them may run in both, some of them may not. At the moment, we've got Yakova Cavern, who is 8-1 favourite. It's currently a reserve for tomorrow, so obviously wait and see if he actually gets in for Emmett Mullins. And there's been little bits and pieces for Sea of Sands, who obviously won really impressively at Bristol this week for Willie Mullins.
Oh, blimey, yeah, Willie Mullins is probably the one that punters will be wanting us to talk about here, Kills, as if he's not had enough airtime this week.
Well, this is it. He's got loads, hasn't he? I mean, I backed Plantier at Leopardstown thinking he was a horse that's potentially very, very well in. Anyway, a stinker, ran no race at all, was a massive drifter. So he's only 16 to 1 there. He again runs tomorrow as well. I'll be keeping an eye on him. Sure, he's been bought to win something. But the Bellocchio,
it's the route, isn't it?
It just won so well, didn't he? And he's been kept fresh, and you know that would be the one that interested me now. But I've got to admit, I have not been studying this as Irish for very long. You know what I mean? It's one of those races that sort of creeps up on you, and I'll be having a proper look at it in a week or so's time. But it's very, very, very hard. It should be for Wayne to won the field.
There are some top
I
names.
wouldn't back anything at 8, to put it that way.
Well, fair enough. All right. If you could ride one, Aidan, in this?
I think kind of a specialist race. Very few flat horses kind of get to run over this trip, and on that you kind of look back at something like the Shunter, who's been there and done it, hasn't he? And he's obviously a high-class horse over hurdles, fences, and on the flat. So you kind of go what's proven, and he kind of is.
All right. Okay. I was looking for that eye catcher. What was the name of the horse? They got beaten in the Ebor for him. I thought that was going to be in this Hip Hop de Loire or whatever it was, but seemingly not in this. So wherever that runs next time, it's an absolute certainty. All right, okay. We're not sure, basically. What do you like in the Cesaro, which hold on to your Ante-Post bets at the moment, but all those prices are available. If you think you know the Willie Mullins one, get on the app or the William Hill website. Right, does that bring us to the naps? It's the business end of this morning post. Great to have you with us for the last hour and 8 minutes so far. We've had DJ on telling us everything about Ireland and, of course, his thoughts domestically as well. He's given you his nap in the 310 laugh a minute already, which is boosted out to 14-1, Johnny Simpson. I've gone for my old friend Wob, Adrian Keatley. Now that the danger's out of that, I thought, at Haydock in the 240, this is surely his day, isn't it? Absolutely love him. What else have we got?
So we've got Granger Bay for Paul. He's boosted out to 3-1. Liam Swagger for Aidan. He's 6-4. I'm going to go for Balmacara. He's 16-1. He's got 15-1 on the graphic there. That'll be corrected shortly. And then Laugh a Minute for Dave, who made a really strong case for that. He's boosted out to 14-1.
All right, okay, yeah, Balmacara, he literally is going to have the cavalry behind him from stall one. Johnny see the bull big in the Cambridgeshire. I'm up at Haydock. Liam Swagger, a horse that I couldn't get a win out of on the flat.
Yeah, I think I think he's a great price. Like, I think James Owen, trainer, really follow. He's 10 from like 31 runners in the last 14 days. And as I say, he's although he hasn't really been winning on the flat, he's been running really well. And
who's riding him?
Sam.
So bounce out, crack on.
Well, I don't know if they do that, but they did.
Well, he did it on the flat a lot, didn't he?
Yeah,
I backed him at
yeah,
Kempton last time, and I thought we've got it, and he gets
I think
bit
he'll
by the
definitely
faff.
be up there, but obviously he's not run over hurdles yet, whereas some of the others have. Therefore, they've kind of got penalties, and they're the first time out juvenile winner the other day, Sam and James Owen as well.
Did you always feel like you were doing a shorter shift at market raising? Do you know what I mean? This is going to be half a race, lads. It seems to be over before it started over there. It's so quick.
Yeah, it wasn't as quick. I used to ride quite a lot of winners around there, and I used to kind of take my time on that because you get racing off the hill turning in, and it was actually a lot of results changed from the back of the last to the line for a tight track, and I think it pays to hold up a little bit there.
You used to ride a load of good bumper horses around there, didn't you?
Yeah.
I remember he really did.
None of them really went on though.
No, well there you go. It didn't matter to you, did it? You got the money. And Keels is going for a boosted 3-1 shot.
I know. I mean, I backed it. It must be some non-runners because I backed it at a good deal bigger than that. Well, not a good deal bigger. I backed it at 9-2 yesterday. Yeah, the penny just dropped for him.
The Ascot winner.
Absolutely gagged up at Ascot, having been second to Runboy Run, I think it was on the July course the time before, is a brother to Saffron Beach.
Yes.
Penny has dropped ground suits. He may have gone up £15, but it'll be 100 something. It'll be 100 plus next year.
I love it. You'll be getting to the ATT going, I hope I've got some Wi-Fi. That's you today, a bit of golf.
No, we'll be on about hole 14 by then.
All right, okay.
And I'll probably be bawling my eyes out. We're playing Epsom Golf Course today, and
Looking for some balls then.
when you can't chip and putt, it's not the place to play.
Enjoy your day. Aidan, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right,
Cheers,
you'll
yeah.
have a big Saturday.
Not really, no. I'll go get home at some stage.
Not according to social media, Aidan. Right, okay, Johnny Simpson, great to have you with us as well.
Yeah, cheers, Dave. Looking forward to next weekend. We've got the Arc to look forward to.
Lovely, yes we have. It's all still to come here on the Morning Post. We will be back next week. Look, the sun's shining. It's all ahead of you. Cambridgeshire, 2 Group 1s. Go and enjoy it. All that sport.